Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we're discussing a watch that packs features into a 44.25mm stainless steel case. This is the Omega Speedmaster Broad Arrow GMT Chronograph. It is also a coaxial chronometer. It's 44 1/4 in diameter, it's 15.5mm thick, and 49.7mm from lug tip to lug tip with a 21mm spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and I'll opine that this is pretty much the limit of what's possible. This is a broad watch, but it's also a thick and massive watch, so you could probably best see from over the top that this watch is just about out to the edges of my wrist. So if your wrist were any smaller than mine, you'd probably run into complications. So 16 centimeters circumference is going to be the lower limit, in my opinion, to wear this well. The strap is aviator style, so calfskin with a contrasting stitch. You can see that it is bolstered to give it some volume. It's got a contrasting stitch in a medium brown calfskin C. Appreciate that this is a brand new Omega factory strap from the bottom. Taking a quick look at the buckle, it's a well-known piece that's been in use since the early 2000s. Twin trigger release, polished externally, a little bit of contrast, satin and polish internally. You take the strap, you tuck it in. It goes in like so, and then buckled down and sized, it hides underneath the other side of the strap as well as the clasp body, so there's no need for minder loops. We got a nice secure clasp here, suitable for a sports watch because you must press both triggers to release it. It's not going to pop open inadvertently. The case is familiar to Omega fans. Lyre style lugs, so you have both that inward and then the outward bevel. We've seen this on Omega watches since the early 60s, well established on Speedmasters. A thin mid case with longitudinal satination, a bevel that expands at the end of the lugs, a polished bevel. You can see the underside of the bezel is polished, the top is satinated. We have shear guards for the pushers and the crown, pump style pushers. A dramatically boxed sapphire that's designed to evoke a vintage plexiglass, and then a dial in what I'm going to call silver beige, because it's definitely got some beige undertones. This is not silver, this is not white, this is a little bit more like an eggshell tone. Outboard, we have hash marks against which you can read chronograph seconds and fractions of seconds, as well as minutes. You can see we have a bifurcated scale for the GMT, and the way this works is we have two hands on the dial. One, the broad arrow, moves around in 12-hour sweeps. The other one, the red index, moves around the dial once per day. You could set them independently. You can also appreciate what the shading means. Red, those are the hours where it is approximately going to be daytime, and then blue, hours where it is approximately nighttime. You have the ability to set that local hour hand independently while the watch continues to tick, keeping time, and even while the chronograph continues to operate. Note that not only am I able to move the date forward and backwards as I travel east or west, but we have a reverse roulette date on this watch. So the odds are black and the evens are red. That's the opposite of a Rolex roulette date where the odds are red and the evens are black. I'll do a quick loom shot here. The watch really has no shortage of loom. It is a sports watch after all. You can see both the local time and the reference time. And then the watch has lovely faceted applique hour indices that are faceted like razors on their side, really quite impressive. This is the kind of detail you normally expect on a Grand Seiko dial, and then mirror polished across their top. We also have hands that are mirror polished across their top and an upscale applique Omega logo and marquee. Now, a few other subsidiary functions. We've got a hacking or stop seconds function, so you can stop everything synchronized to a reference time. The column wheel chronograph is crisp to operate, and you can see the distinctive column wheel through the reverse side of the case. This is one of the sharpest and most positive I have encountered. I'd rank it up there with the likes of Rolex and Lange, and oddly enough Breitling for best pusher feel among column wheel chronos. Now that's nice. It's a traditional way of building a chronograph going back to the pocket watch era. The vertical clutch is more modern. It's a seamless engagement that involves no jump or stagger when you start the chronograph seconds hand. Also, since there's no additional play in a vertical clutch chrono, you can leave the chrono running full-time if you like with no additional wear and tear. Flip it all over. This movement is based on a Frédéric Piguet, and it goes by the Omega name 3603. So 3603 is based on a Frédéric Piguet 1285 base, which is a thicker and more durable version of the well-known Autologerie thin integrated 1185. This is in many ways a much better movement than the 1185. First, thickness adds durability. Second, we get more power reserve, 52 here versus 40 on an 1185. We also got a free sprung balance, which is Omega's distinctive upgrade to the movement, making it more durable but also easier to regulate precisely. And with 5-position adjustment and the COSC chronometer certification, this is a certified chronometer. The watch also includes a coaxial escapement as envisioned by the British watchmaker George Daniels in the 70s and industrialized by Omega in the 90s. It helps to increase power reserve, reduce friction, and improve chronometry. It really accomplishes all of those. It's also a good-looking movement, as you can see, a better finished and more interesting from an architectural standpoint than other Omega calibers like the ETA-based 2500 or the rather thick and chunky 8500 and 9300 family. This is just a good-looking movement. Pivots on 36 jewels, and almost every feature of it is worth examining through the reverse of the case. The watch is even 100 meters water resistant, so put it on a different strap and you have a very swimmable watch. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.